I had a dream. I had an awesome dream, and I want to tell you about it. I'm very excited to be here. I'm actually really excited to be here because it is 11/11/2020. We are starting a new cycle. It's a chance for a new beginning. It's a chance to wake up again. If this is your very first time hanging out with me, welcome. My name is Shannon Nix, and I am the creator of Art Farm Studios, and today I am your friendly art teacher and art farmer, and I'm here to guide you. At Art Farm, we like to cultivate impactful art, and then we like to watch it grow. In this video, I'd like to share with you the greatest messages or lessons that I took from the dream, and I just really am here to help you find your own wings. I also would like to talk to you about why I believe it was the mighty Oprah Winfrey herself who met me in this dream, and why it was her voice, her teachings that I had the blessings to look into. So now, welcome to our butterfly conversations. And the reason why I have decided to call it butterfly conversations is because I started thinking about this idea that like a butterfly really can't have conversations with caterpillars. And it started getting me thinking, you know, I'm an art farmer, so I think about the processes of life. So if you're a caterpillar, I'm here to talk to you because that means that you're formulating, where you're still cocooning and you're still processing. That's exactly where you're supposed to be. Maybe you're a butterfly, and I want to talk to you too, because maybe you have already bursted out, and maybe you are already on the other side, and you've already felt the taste of freedom, and you've already felt the light at your back. Or maybe you're like me, maybe you're an art farmer. And an art farmer is someone who is taking what they've cultivated, the experiences, and they are bringing them and giving them back to their community. Typically we make these videos and they are about an art piece that I've created, and this is no different. But this time we are opening it up for you guys. I really want to hear about how your dreams have taken flight, whether while you're asleep or awake. What are the images around you that are inspiring you and awakening you? Okay, so we're gonna just dig right in. I pulled in this poster because I wanted to pose this question to you. When you read this, I have a dream, do you hear the voice of Dr. Martin Luther King? Do you hear him saying, I have a dream, I have an awesome dream? Have you heard that soundbite enough times that when you read those words, you hear his voice? I just want you to start thinking about the voices in your head, and I want you to hear your teachers. I want you to hear who has impacted you and who is really helping you weave your dreams together. Okay, so let's start with the dream. It starts with a dandelion. So just as with the Martin Luther King Jr. quote, the entrance into this visual is a dandelion. And you see this phrase, a dream is a wish your heart makes. Now, if you're a Disney fan, you may have heard a song before you heard the words, or maybe you heard a song as you were reading the words. If you're not a Disney fan, you did not hear that at all. You know, a dandelion represents a dream, but a dandelion also represents a wish. And it's interesting because a dandelion, it doesn't become a wish until you look at it differently. Does that make sense? Plus, I just feel like starting it here, not only does it describe kind of a shift in perspective, it also describes growth. Okay, so moving into the next clip, we see the figure who is in flight. And it says, for most of my life, I've had a reoccurring flying dream. Now, when you tell me you've had a flying dream, I expect that means you flew. I expect that means you saw new things. I expect in some ways it means freedom. That's what I expect. But in reality, my reoccurring flying dream was nothing like that. My flying dream was indoors. not much flight, not much freedom. My flying dream was in darkness. Not much to look at, not a new perspective. So the expectation versus the reality of freedom and flying. I kind of likened it to flying a kite indoors. If you were to try to fly a kite inside your house, how much breeze would you get? How much flight would you get? How high would the kite go? Not too high. So I started thinking about this idea that in my reoccurring flying dream, it always began the same way. I was always in a dark hallway. I was always planting my feet on the ground. I was always looking straight ahead, gearing myself up, mustering up my strength. I set my sights on the front of the hallway, even though I can't see anything. It's dark. But I am true. I have stuck my sights onto it, and I run, and I hoist, and I lift, and that's my dream. And sometimes I lift or hover off the ground, maybe 2 or 3 feet. Sometimes I will actually lift so high in that dark hallway that I can feel the ceiling touching my back, which means I'm flying. If the ceiling's touching my back, I am up. I am flying, but I have nowhere to go. I'm still in the hallway. And then the next time I dream, back in the beginning, back in the dark, back in the hallway, just like every night before. So this part of the dream, on the night of 11/11, facing the same dark hallway like every night before, always indoors, dark and alone. I wasn't running from the dark. In fact, I was running straight into it. So the figure that represents myself running, this determined look, she's kind of on one foot. She's got her feet behind her. She's got her heart forward. Her eyes are looking where she's going. Her arms are flinged back so her heart can be forward. When I think about the physicality of that, it's using your heart and your core to push forward. And that I would say is the feeling behind the figure. And as I'm running, it's my will. I don't have wings on my back in this dream. And I think it's important to say, I'm not an angel in this dream. I'm a human in this dream, which means I'm willing myself up off the ground. I'm not like, oh, look at these, it's so effortless. I've already got these wings and I'm gonna fly around. I'm gonna look at things, look at how beautiful. Like, no, I'm not there. I don't know that I have wings. I'm using my brain to hoist myself up, okay? So this is where 11/11 just shined its light right onto me. Down the hallway, hoisting myself up like I had been doing. I don't know that I mentioned it, but I've been having the same reoccurring non-flight dream since I was a teenager, okay? It's a lot of years in the dark. It's a lot of years in the same hallway, and it's a lot of years to not see where I'm going. But this time, I see a light. I see a light. I've never seen a light, not a glimpse, not a light, not a sliver, nothing. Never seen a light in the dark. So I'm trying to tread even harder. I don't want to fall now. I'm like, I have to hold it up so I can look more. I want to look. What is this? There's a light, there's a hallway. What, there's an end of this? What? This time, there was a lady. I see the back of a lady. And my first feelings of this image is that she's really put together. I mean, her tailored presence changed that room. She is put together. So now I'm holding it more because I'm like, oh, there's a lady. I'm like, oh, see me, see me. I want to see her, but I also am like, I want her to see me. I'm so excited. I can't express to you how exciting it was to see the light and see the lady. The most transformative or teaching part of this dream was the next 3 seconds. That turnaround, where I saw her, but more importantly, where she saw me. And it was in those 2 seconds of her eyes, I got her message loud and clear. And, you know, it's kind of like a mother. She didn't say anything in the dream. It was just with her look, with one look. And she was saying to me, like, you made it. I knew you would. I was waiting for you. I've been awake for hours. My 3 biggest takeaways. It really boiled down to 3 basic big messages. The first being trust. The universe has your back. You know, we have to trust our own processes. And I think sometimes when processes start to take too long, that's when we lose trust. And I think of myself in that hallway, and I think of like running over and over, and this feeling that like maybe I'll never get out of the hallway, and this feeling that like maybe I'll never get out of the darkness. That idea of I'm too late, I missed my time. I feel like Oprah in this dream represents the time lady. And for those of you who were, you know, children of the 80s, you will remember the time lady. Before we had cell phones, we would use our rotary phone to I think it was, wait, what's my phone? It was 824-1212. I think that was the time lady. And when you called the time lady, you would hear a voice. You would hear the time lady's voice. And she would say, the tone of the time is 11:11. And I feel like Oprah in this dream represents the time lady. She was the time keeper. It's fascinating to me because the look on her face was, it's your time. If you're still in that darkness, if you're still in that kind of time of where you're mistrusting because you can't see, then, I mean, you're literally showing up because you're practicing your alignment. And I think about, you know, so often Oprah talks about that our only one job in this world is to align with our dreams and figure out who we were meant to be. And so from a very literal perspective, I was lining up with my dreams. I was practicing how to trust my process. My second greatest takeaway or message from this dream was release. And release informs space, okay? And the greatest way that I've learned to think about space and release is through yoga. I practice and teach yoga, and it's an easy way of thinking about release and space. So for those of you who practice yoga, or even if you don't, you know, a big question I get so often is I just don't kind of get the breathing thing, okay? So the breathing thing is the release. The breathing thing is what gives us space. So if I bend over like this, I can only get this far. But if I release, I can get this far. Does that make sense? Okay, so that is my favorite way of thinking about release and space. Okay, so when we release, we're actually releasing all of those questions that we have inside. You know, we're releasing our doubts, our fears. For me, space also informs voice. So I study yoga, I study the chakras, and the throat chakra, your voice, is governed by the ether, is governed by space. For me, because I study that, I have to think of voice. I have to think of not being able to release and let out a voice. So fear blocks creativity. It's something I talk about a lot. And when we are kept small and when we are kept in the dark, then our stories are kept small and our stories are kept in the dark. The truth is, I didn't want to be seen. The truth is, I wasn't ready to be seen. The truth is, I didn't want to be found. And when you don't want to be found, what are you? You're lost. I was afraid to dig in, and I was afraid to dig in, and I was afraid what was on the other side. I was afraid to come out of the dark. But I wasn't afraid to run, and I wasn't afraid to run towards the unknown. The third greatest thing that I took away from that dream, the third message, was belief. You have to believe that your wings are already on your back. Because even though your fears are really big, your faith is even bigger. Because even though you can't see the way out, your faith tells you that there always is a way out, even if you can't see it. Faith is not a feeling, and faith is not hope. Faith is a knowing. Why do I think it was the mighty Oprah herself to relay this message? Something that my son had brought up to me when I first showed him my video. I was so scared. It was my first video I ever made. He said something, he just said, I think this video really needs to answer one question. Why Oprah? Why was it Oprah? I see this quote here that I included in the video. When we know better, we do better, which is a quote from Maya Angelou, and she informed and used her voice to inspire and awaken Oprah. And like all good teachers, their voices come in, and then it's our job to release them out. Oprah, she is a mother, she's a teacher, she's a friend. Our mothers and our teachers and our friends, guess what? They can see us before we can see us. Our greatest teachers, they believe in us before we even believe in ourselves. Oprah talks so much about becoming who you were born to be and listening to the messages of the universe. She brings up the idea of the universe already dreaming a dream for you. But your job is you have to align yourself with that dream energetically, and you also have to meet that dream. Does that make sense? So you have to meet your dream energetically. I grabbed my Wrinkle in Time book because I think that it sums up why Oprah was my teacher in this dream in one sentence. It said, so this is right where Mrs. Witch, you know, the kids are asking, like, what do we do next? And I almost said, and Oprah, Mrs. Witch, she says, we will continue to fight. Something in Mrs. Witch's voice made all three of the children stand straighter, throwing back their shoulders with determination, looking at the glimmer that was Mrs. Witch with pride and confidence. I created that video on Oprah's birthday, which is January 29th. You'll see her standing there in all of her glory, and she's in the sunset of her birthday, wearing her birthday hat, because I wanted to pay homage to my teacher who showed up for me that night of 11/11, and who taught me how to see. And she just stays there. She's just willing to see me exactly how I am and for who I am. And for that, all I can say is thank you. Okay guys, so little O just said that she has brought a present for us. So let's see what she brought. Little O. Do you guys open cards first? Let's go for the card first. Little O, it's so cute. Really? Do I just take it and read it? Girl, doors are opening. Aw, little O, you're so sweet. It says, the dream is real. What did you bring? Shall I open it? Allow me. What is it? Ooh. Oh. What do we have here? How fun. It's like a little door handle. It's a crystal door handle. Such a good reminder to keep opening the doors. Thank you so much. Thank you. Wait, did you say you brought more gifts? What?